I want to welcome all of you to the first ever virtual think tank, and a big shout out to the planning committee. So we've got Jayla, Fern, Michelle, and Matt who've been helping to plan this one-of-a-kind event. And Matt has done a great job of learning all the Zoom techniques, and he is our wonderful host for today. So we really appreciate Matt. So we are going to start off with a roll call. And the way this is going to work is on my screen, I have 4 rows across. So I'm just going to start off with my name and work site, and then I'm going to tell the next 3 people who's going to go, one right after the other. So, and then I will come back up and then I'll preview the next 4. So my name is Shelly Rich. I'm with the YMCA, the Health and Wellness Coalition, and the next 3 people on my screen are Jayla, and then Jason, and then Fern.
Great. Well, hi everyone. It's nice to. I know some of you don't have cameras. You've mentioned that in the chat, but hopefully it's good to see faces and it's good to see names. It's been a long time since we've been together. But I'm Jayla Miller. I am an account executive at IMA in employee benefits.
Jason Jones. I'm the director of Bluestem Wellness for Bluestem Communities.
Hi, Fern McGehee. I work for Project Access, which is under the umbrella of Medical Society of Sedgwick County.
Great job. That was a wonderful start. And Jason, you're located near Heston and Newton. So love that we have people even from outside the Wichita area.
Yep.
Okay, so next up we have Michelle Davis, and then Matt, and then Terry Fields, and Amanda Schuster. So take it away, Michelle.
I'm Michelle Davis. I work with Kansas Legal Services here in Wichita.
Hey everybody, good morning. My name is Matt Tebow, and I'm with the Kansas Business Group on Health.
Good morning. My name is Terry Fields, and I'm with the Wichita Public Schools Employee Benefits Office.
Good morning, Amanda Schuster, Wellbeing and Engagement Consultant with Gallagher.
Great. Okay, the next row I have Deanne, and then some letters, TASSCH. So we're looking forward to figuring out who that is. And then a phone extension, 55167. You'll introduce yourself third and then wrap up with Kelsey.
Good morning, this is Deanna Heinlein, and I am the USD 309 Nickerson and South Hutchinson District Nurse and Wellness Coordinator.
Who is on the line, the TASSCH person? Or we've got a phone number, 55167. We're just trying to identify everybody who's on the call.
I'm Tanya May, with Capital Federal. I'm on the Wellness Committee.
Great, welcome.
Thank you.
Kelsey, why don't you go ahead and go next?
Hi, this is Kelsey Perrymore. I'm with the Sedgwick County Zoo and the accountant there.
Welcome. Okay, so the next row, let's do Deanne Newland from, I'll let you say your name so I'm not stealing all your thunder, and then Paula, and then Michelle, and then Leanna.
Good morning, I'm Deanne Newland with Medical Society of Sedgwick County, and I have my assistant, Cindy Nisbel-Barboa, here with me today.
Hi, I'm Michelle Potter. I'm with Starkey. I'm the benefit coordinator here in Wichita.
I think there was supposed to be one more person before me, but I'm Leanna Fry. I am the Senior Program Director of Community Health with the Greater Wichita YMCA, and I also serve on our Employee Wellness Committee.
Okay. All right. So we have Carrie Wyatt, who's joining us without a webcam. So let's go. The next 4, I have Katie, and then Shonda, Tana, and Diane.
Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay. My name is Katie Link. I'm with Newman University in the Human Resources Department.
Shonda, we saw your mute button go off, but then it went back on. How about Tana or Diana?
All right, can everyone hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
So my camera is not working, so I wish I could join, but I'll just do with the audio for now. But I'm the Health and Wellness Coordinator for Professional Engineering Consultants.
Welcome. Diana Little, do you want to introduce yourself? Okay, we'll go on to the next row. So I have Holly, C. Page, Lynn, and Chris Morales. Go ahead and unmute and introduce yourself. All right, well, we started off strong, but we're going to keep trying with this. Love to see who all's in the room. Let's try the next row. So I have Chris. You want to go ahead and unmute yourself, and then Twee, and then Wendy McBride and Alex.
Chris Mishak, South Central Kansas Education Service Center, Orion Education and Training.
I was on that first row, but I was the third person, so I was waiting for the first two to go. But I'm Lynn Dang, and I'm also with Blue STEM Wellness. I'm the program director, so Jason is my boss.
Welcome. Okay, we'll go ahead and move on to the next row, and then if we have others from this row who want to join in at the end and introduce themselves, that will be great. So I have CW, and then ASHHOF, and then Suzanne Hawley and Emily Pham. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hi there, I'm Suzanne Hawley from Wichita State University, and I'm in the Department of Public Health Sciences, and I'm a professor there. I'm unfortunately only able to be a part of the first half of the meeting. Hope I can contribute.
Great.
Hi, this is Emily Pham. I'm with the City of Topeka. I'm the Wellness Coordinator, and I'm with the Human Resources Department.
Welcome. Okay, I have Troy Williams, Courtney Swanner, and then a phone number ending in 8921.
Yes, so I'm Troy Williams. I'm with Case New Holland Manufacturing here in Wichita, and I'm the regional EHS manager.
Hi, I'm Courtney Swanner. I'm at the Bradbury Company, and I'm the engineering administrative assistant, and I'm on the wellness committee.
All right, let's do just one more shout out. If there's anybody else on the call that wants to introduce themselves that was skipped during the roll call, your name and your work site.
Hi there, my name is Twee Tran. I'm an HR business partner for Syndio. One of my clients have gotten me involved in their wellness. They're at their work site, and so just wanting to connect with others and see, what else, what other sites are doing that we could also be doing as well.
Okay.
And
Hi there, can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Yes. I'm Holly Hajaj. I'm the Corporate Wellness Director from the YMCA.
And there are several who have stated in the chat that they don't have camera or microphone. So for some of those folks, they did introduce themselves and their work sites there if you want to check that out.
Yes, thank you for that, Jayla. Okay, well, let's go ahead and get started. Like I said, this is a very different think tank. So we are going to recognize those that registered for the series back in January of the very beginning of this year at the end of this call with a special incentive. And we also wanted to thank all those that responded to the email about the free response, free invitation to this think tank. We had a great response and we're looking forward to a good discussion. So I'm going to pass it on to Fern, who's going to facilitate the first topic.
Thank you, Shelley. Okay, so we are going to spend the next 30 minutes being interactive with one another. Thankfully, Matt is in charge of making sure that we can get into breakout rooms so that we can talk freely with each other. The breakout rooms will be small, so it won't be an issue with people having to kind of talk over each other. So what we'd like you to do is pull up that Google sheet that was sent to you, as well as it's in the chat box for anybody. And we are going to talk about the COVID silver linings and challenges. So Matt can do a screen share as well so that we can see the document, and then people can start typing, and then we're going to go into the breakout room to do a little bit more of a deeper dive with it. So you should be able to just go ahead and start typing, and then as we're going here in a minute, we're going to go into our first breakout room. So I know that this has been a huge challenge with the fact that so many employers have had to pick up and send employees home. Obviously, you can tell that I'm still working from home, been home for about 5 months now. And I have found some challenges with it, as well as I've found some unbelievable silver linings with it. So we thought by bringing it up and visiting about it with one another, we can help one another navigate a time that none of us have ever had to navigate. A lot of businesses, it was pretty quick and very challenging to get people set up remotely. My business did an excellent job of getting us home and getting IT involved so that we could continue to do our jobs. Project Access works with low-income uninsured residents in Sedgwick County. Our patients have an immediate medical need and they need to see doctors who are donating care. So we went to virtual enrollments, and we have found that we did not miss a step with that. So we are continuing to get our patients the access for care that they need. So that was an unbelievable silver lining. As much as we thought that was going to be a huge challenge for staff, it has not been. So if you just kind of look over what people are typing, and you'll see hopefully that you can relate to quite a few of them, as well as maybe the things you haven't thought about. I would think that I don't have a child in the home. She is older and has moved on. She's out in Pennsylvania going to law school, but I can imagine that there's some huge challenges with having children in the home, as well as silver linings with having children in the home. And I love the I never forget my lunch. That's a good one, because you're just right there with your refrigerator. All righty. Those are some really good silver linings and challenges that are being listed. Shelley, how much more time do you want us to do this before we head into a room?
I say we go ahead and go into the breakout room. I did want to mention, I forgot to say, if you're not able to access the Google Doc, you can see what it looks like. I'll send you the Google Doc. I've already had one request for it. But if you're not able to get that open, feel free to add it into the chat and we can type it in there for you.
Okay, so we have 34 participants on the call. So Matt's going to throw us into groups of 5. So you're going to have to accept that when it comes across and then give it just a quick second and then it'll connect with 5 people in the room for you. We're going to stay in there for about 5 minutes talking and then Matt will bring us back. He is going to be Oz and get us to and from where we need to be. So just click the blue join breakout room and you should be good to go.
live and go from there.
That was trippy, Matt. I felt like I was on the Starship Enterprise and being beamed around by Scotty.
Yeah,
I liked
right. It feels good to have all the power.
Well, we had a little practice session, and Matt was so funny when he'd send us in and out of breaks rooms. He'd do the little doo-doo-doo-doo-doo. And I missed that today.
On the next one, my powers are just warming up. So
well, we had an excellent conversation in the breakout room that I was in, talking about the silver linings and the challenges. And hopefully people are continuing to look at the document to see if there's other things that they're unaware of or can show positivity in it all. So we got lots of good answers. Lots of good answers. So next I'm going to turn it over to Michelle, and she's going to facilitate the next breakout room.
Michelle, can you unmute your microphone? Thanks.
I am sorry. I've done that every time I've been on Zoom. Sorry. Our next breakout room we're going to have is talking about working remotely because of COVID-19. I have not been working remotely, so I did for, I think, 2.5 days while I was getting tested on that. But we're going into our next breakout room for knowing what are some problems that we're facing with working remotely and some solutions that we have found to those. I know while I was working remotely, just being out of the loop, I got a lot done, but just being out of the loop and not being able to see my coworkers, that was a good thing probably, because I didn't talk as much. But then also, you know, when I came back, I was like, so much happened and I wasn't here. So that's what I have. And then we'll have some polling questions also on there. So are we ready to go into the next breakout rooms, or do we want to do the poll questions first? Poll questions?
Yeah, I think Matt's gonna stop sharing his screen and throw, oh, there we go. First question.
I do not see the questions. But our first polling question is, what % of your work site is working remotely? If you could go on there.
We're just gonna give it a few minutes or a minute or so. Matt's collecting the responses, then he'll flash up the results.
all right, half of people have responded. I'll give it another 15 seconds here or so.
I did not ever see the question pop up.
I don't see it either.
Yeah, I didn't either.
Does this help with the screen not shared?
They still aren't up, Matt, for me. I don't know if that means if you want to take them back and try to redeploy, if you can.
Let's try. All right, here we go. All right, it's going to clear the existing results. Is everybody okay with revoting? Okay.
Yes.
Sure.
All right, it's up now. Hopefully you can see it.
I don't see anything but everyone's faces.
Yeah, it popped right up on my screen and it let me answer and submit.
Yeah, it worked for me.
Yeah, Matt, I'm not seeing it. It's Fern.
It also works for me.
Who all's on their phone?
I am, and maybe that's why I don't see the question or the poll popping up.
I wonder if you're on your phone if it doesn't pop up.
I'm on a desktop and I haven't gotten it.
You haven't got it. Well, sorry, y'all. I'm not sure what the problem is. Seems to be the same 18 people that can vote. So, Shelly, team, if that's okay with you all, well, there's 19. Somebody else got in. So go ahead and share the results. Looks like most people have at least some portion of their workforce working from home. Looks like one person is working somewhere where nobody's working from home, but the majority of people have at least some portion of their population working from home. So it's interesting.
Yeah, I would say here at Starkey, we're the only building. We have a few admin people that are doing the hybrid working from home and then coming in the office, but we have been in the office since day one here, but our supervisors and group home supervisors, everybody is working from home. So a large majority of our staff are. Okay, so our second polling question is, would you say productivity has increased or decreased since we are have some people working from home? And that should be the second question.
And it came up for me the second time.
Okay.
So
then Alex said in the chat that it finally came up. So he says, I wonder if there's a lag. So I wonder, it just takes a minute to come through. So we'll give it a little more time on this round to make sure everybody can see it. All right, I'll leave it up for another 20 seconds just in case it's lagging on anybody's end.
We just got a group call out to stand up and march in place and do some arm circles, physical activity.
I hope everybody has on pants.
Yeah, I'll be right back. Okay. So we got pretty good participation on that one. Share the results now. So it looks like for a large number of people, productivity seems to have increased for their employees. Looks like a fair amount has decreased as well. Some has about stayed the same, and then of course, some just don't know.
I know what I have found is we are seeing a lot of people that are working remotely. We have to keep nudging them to get things to us that we need. But that's what I found. My job's pretty steady since I'm in the office. Other than that, but I think now since we've got our results in the polling questions, we're going to do breakout rooms to do a deeper discussion of some solutions to what we have found to increase productivity and other items that maybe are lacking as we are working from home and not in the office around all of our coworkers. So whenever we are ready, Matt, we can go ahead and get into our breakout rooms.
All right, you all should be in rooms with different people this time. So here we go.
Matt, do you feel left out not going to a breakout room?
I mean, I was crying, but just a little bit. I wiped my eyes before everybody came back.
That would have made us all really uncomfortable.
It's fine. It's totally cool. It's not a big deal.
Matt, what have you learned from being at home? Share that with us. Because your wife is there with you.
Yeah, I've learned my wife can get irritated. She's cool as a cucumber most of the time, but I pushed her limits, I think. So I think that's the most important thing I've learned. No, it's been different. It's weird having extra time by not having to commute, but at the same time feeling like I don't have time for anything.
Mhm.
It's been the weirdest thing for me.
Oh,
I feel more busy.
all right. Well, Michelle, go ahead and get started with our last, so we have enough time for final thoughts at the end. So the next piece, so we're going back to our Google Doc, and we are this time going to talk about some emerging issues that you see. So we've all been living in this remote environment, and things have changed. People are being flexible, but what are some emerging issues you are seeing about this type of work environment that you think you or your employer will have to manage over the next, I mean, let's be honest, the next year or two while we try to get this back to normal. So we've already got some folks already starting to add to the Google Doc, so please jump in with your own thoughts. Seeing a lot of mental health, I think that has come to the forefront of one of the biggest emerging issues. I know that's something I talk about with my clients a lot, and just I think the isolation, loneliness, that's absolutely something. You can be alone even if you're in a house with your family. When you have, you guys are going to different corners of the house every day. So there's just a lot going on, and it maybe a lot of unknowns about how to deal with it while we're still in the midst of this pandemic. So keep that coming. Lots of good ideas in here. So taking advantage of FMLA time. Yep, that's a great one. There were a couple of the laws passed when this started that allowed for some additional leaves because of the pandemic. Yep, double whammy with flu season coming up and having employees off work for flu and COVID. I mean, I think that's too where really good policies come into play. So hopefully your employer has task forces together that's allowing, that talks about this, and as news and education changes, that the response changes. I know I can speak for IMA. That's something we've been really good at, is pivoting. And so some of us are back to the office. Some of us are from home. We're going to be in this work from home flexible arrangement for the rest of the year, just because as we take in more information, we're able to pivot. And then with school starting, we wanted to make sure employees had a lot of flexibility so that they could make sure they were taking care of their families as well. Yeah, so lots of good stuff. Sharing resources in the community for furloughed employees, that's absolutely a new emerging issue. So not complying with the new policies that go into place. I hope whomever wrote that down either talks about it later in the deep dive or within your breakout group. I'd love to know how you guys are working with that. But I think we've got enough. Let's go into the breakout rooms and maybe spend about 4 or 5 minutes, and then we'll come back together for the big closing. So
Did you hear that, Amanda? We usually do 10 minutes.
All right, welcome back, everybody. So just to finish up our hour today, I'm going to kick it back to Fern and have her finish up. So.
Okay, we just wanted to wrap this up before I throw it to Shelley, because she's going to do some prize drawings and talk about the next think tank that we have coming up. Are there any additional comments? Please take a moment to put it in the chat. You could also unmute yourself and visit, share with us. Our hope is that we are showing you that everybody's in a time of uncertainty, and that if we can understand that there are people out there to talk to, resources potentially through your employer, as well as resources through Think Tank. Feel free to put those in the chat. But again, this was our first time doing this. I hope that you found it useful, and I know I enjoyed the breakout rooms and having more one-on-one with people. So I'm going to toss it back to Shelley so she can wrap this up, since we're nearing on our time.
Great. I'm remembering to take my phone off mute. I did not do that in the last breakout room. So I have been adding a couple of resources into the chat box. Kansas has the website. That's the first link I put in there. And when you go to their website, there is, I think it's like a 23 or 30 some page employer guide. There's COVID-19 frequently asked questions. There's employer case studies. And then I linked specifically to the Sit Less reminders. So great stuff in there. If you have resources that you have found helpful that you'd like to share with the group, please put those in the chat box as well. So like I mentioned from the beginning, and because all of you have been registered for a Think Tank session in the past, you're aware that we have catered a very nice, healthy lunch. And we had a couple dozen people register for the whole award them to a work site that's on this call that had registered for the Think Tank series. So I am going to draw, and this is random. I'm not looking at who I am drawing, but the first gift card is going to PEC. Tana is on the call, so I will get with you to get the gift card to you. And the second one is Gallagher. Amanda is the lucky winner. Congratulations. Number 2. Okay, number 3. Sedgwick County Zoo. Kelsey, you are a wonderful attendee. Thank you. I know that your Google Doc was blocked. Sorry, it's hard to find a medium that works for everybody. We're going to annotate on the Zoom, but I'm on a Chromebook, and so that doesn't work. Okay, last one. Capital Federal. Okay, so as you know, the Think Tank is a series of 4 sessions. So we met in person in February, had a great session. And then this is the April makeup session in August. We are going to stick with the originally scheduled October session. It's going to be October 20th. And that's going to be a combined session. We're working with the Kansas Business Group on Health, and we're going to combine the Think Tank attendees with Kansas Business Group on Health members to discuss a topic. And so there'll be more information coming about that. And then to make up for the June Think Tank, we have December 8th held on our calendar. And the planning committee will be working to plan that. So we would appreciate your comments if you have things that you would like to see, input about important topics that you want to discuss. Right now, we haven't nailed down a topic. We're just kind of waiting to see what is emerging as we get closer to that time. Okay, I'm hearing people say that they're not able to hear me and my computer has frozen. Is anybody else able to help me close from the committee?
Yeah, I can help. Can everyone who mentioned in the chat, can you all hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay, so just to kind of wrap up with what Shelly said, so we've got, great, thanks, Chris. So we have 2 more think tanks for the rest of the year. This was our makeup think tank from August, June. Yes, Shelly, not either way. We've got one coming up on October 20th. April, yes, thanks. We've got one coming up on October 20th. That will be a combined session with the Kansas Business Group on Health. Our next session after that will be December 8th. We're still looking for a topic idea. So if there is something that you see as an emerging issue or something that you think is important, please send it our way. We're always looking for feedback so that we can help plan sessions that will meet the needs of our community here for wellness. And I think that was it. So thank you all for joining us today. Please, this was our first try at the virtual, so please provide any feedback on how you think this went or anything we can do to make it better. We appreciate you all being here, and we hope you all have a great afternoon.